Welcome to another video of Playwright series. So, in this video, we're going to learn about the Playwright test runner. So, to run test in Playwright, we use a command that is npx playwright test, like to run all the spec file you have under test folder. The command runs all the tests in the test folder, which is the folder name we defined. Okay, when we are installing the playwright in the previous video, I have already discussed about this. So the command is npx playwright test. So when we run this command, you will see the following output, like running tests, 6 tests using 5 workers. Workers are nothing but it will differentiate your like parallel testing. Okay, if you're running a test parallelly, so it will use the workers to run the parallel testing. So the output tells us that 6 tests were run using 5 workers by default. Playwright runs the test in parallel. As I said, it uses workers for it. Number of CPU cores available determines the number of workers. Actually, the workers, how workers get distinguished. So it is like based on your CPU cores, how many CPU cores are available. Based on that, it will automatically parallelize your tests to make it fast to run the test script fast. Okay. So Playwright uses half of the available CPU cores. So how that worker actually works. So to open the report in HTML format, there is a command npx playwright show report. It will open your report, whatever the test case passed, failed, and flaky test. It will all show the report in that particular HTML report. Then let's move to next playwright test report. So as you can see in this picture, how reports get generated in playwright. So you can see how many test cases got passed. Failed test cases is 0, flaky 0, and skipped was 0. And total time also it is showing total time taken to execute these test cases. So we should get this following message telling us the report was being saved locally and browser window opens with the report. Okay, so this is basically about test report. The next is playwright test chromium browser. As I said earlier in the previous video, like if you want to explicitly run a particular project in the particular browser, there is a command like npx playwright test dash dash project then chromium. If you want to run in playwright, then you can give, sorry, if you want to run in Firefox or Safari, then you can give it accordingly, like dash dash project Firefox dash dash project WebKit for Safari. So go ahead and run the command. Notice that 2 tests were run using 2 workers. When you open the report, you will see the tests were only run on the Chromium browser. Okay, so this is actually all about that. Let's move to the next part. It's to let's understand what is exactly test config. Like we already discussed the brief about that, like what is test config. Let's discuss more about it. Let's start by learning about playwright test configuration. Playwright config, it has a file called playwright.config.ts that defines the default test runner configuration. The test config API describes the available configuration properties for the customization. So the playwright test CLI let you override the config properties or file location at the runtime. You don't specifically need to import this file. You don't need to do this by default. Playwright will understand if you have a configuration file in your test pattern, in your test, basically in your framework. It will automatically override the config properties, okay, at the runtime. So let's see what the default configuration file provided by the playwright. So below you can see the code that is import define config, that is actually to it's a to define config we can call to, and basically It will showing like test directory. You can mention which is your test directory. Then fully parallel, that is for run the test case in parallel. Then for bid only, you can give particular process dot anv dot ci. Retries, you can mention how many retries you want. And workers, you can mention. Reporter is like html format. These all things are basically will be there in the config file. Projects, as I mentioned earlier, you can mention your particular project wherever you want to run. If you want to do cross platform testing, cross browser testing, on that time you can use these projects, and you can mention specifically which browser you want to run your test. And trace, as I said, you can already always it help in tracing your recorded steps, so you can also mention your trace in the use block. Okay. So basic configuration in test config file is test directory, that is top level directory to scan recursively of your test files. Then fully parallel, that is decide if all test is in all files should run in parallel. Then forbid only means like exit with error if test dot only is used. If test dot only is used, then you can you with the help of forbid only you can exit that particular test. Retries is max retries per test you can do. Workers, max number of concurrent workers process. It's like parallel to run the test cases in parallel. You can use worker. Reporter, in this reporter, like you can mention select from available reporter option built in and custom. It's used to generate your report. Use that is set to global option for all test can be overridden at project or test scope. Projects, like I already mentioned, it is like run test and multiple configurations. I think browser emulators options you can mention in the project block. So it's all about configuration file, brief about what exactly the config file contains. So in this video we will keep it at this till this point, and next we will see more about Playwright in the next video. So yeah, that's all for in this video. Thanks for watching.